We are ready to begin when you are.
Okay, I will call the meeting of the Economic Development Authority to order. Roll call. Sikich is here. Alderman Dwayne is excused. Okay, excused. Phil?
Here.
Mike Borley?
Here.
Eric Genrick?
Here.
Mike Vogel is excused. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Hilgenberg, second by Borley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Approval of the minutes from the May 11th, 2016 meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Genrick, is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Hilgenberg, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, old business. Communication from Alderman Moore regarding the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
This one's come back to you guys quite a few times. So we were exploring different opportunities to see if our CDBG funds could potentially be used to develop a partnership with the HCCW. What we found out is, first of all, we're doing a good job with these CDBG funds, getting them out on our own, and we feel like we'd like to maintain the control over those funds. And second of all, because they have a targeted audience, it doesn't necessarily comply with the HUD eligibility requirements.
Sure.
So we do want to make sure that we're compliant, and therefore we probably won't continue pursuing that avenue.
Okay.
We would just like to come to you guys and see if you'd be comfortable with us exploring a corporate membership through the HCCW, and if so, we will go ahead and pursue that.
Okay. What does that involve? Or is
It's
there-
$500.
Oh, okay. Sure. Okay. Are you looking for action on that today, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to direct staff how to proceed, I mean, in terms of just generally, membership dues and things like that are generally under the administrative purview of the
Sure.
department.
Oh, okay.
I think this is just following through Alderman Moore's request to see if there might be bigger opportunities in terms of what membership means. And as Julia said, in any way we can do a relationship.
Sure.
If you want to formally act upon this or just refer to staff to act upon as necessary, I think is motion enough.
I'm just curious, is the city maintaining memberships in other organizations?
Yes, so as you know, we contribute to Advance, which is the economic part of the Greater Green Bay Chamber. Individually, we stay involved in different organizations. The American Planning Association, Urban Land Institute, Congress of Urbanism.
How about other just community
Chambers?
things?
Yeah, we also, this year, a newer organization is the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber of Commerce. So they're a fledgling organization. We've had some early participation with them. The Hispanic Chamber are kind of the ones, that we at least want to be involved in ones that are doing work up in this area. And so that's what we've been involved with so far.
And they've also reached out to our department, so.
What's the feeling of the authority? Do we want to go ahead and let them pursue membership? Okay, let's have that in the form of a motion.
I'd like the motion to have staff explore the possibility of becoming a member of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Okay, well, keep us posted. Item 5, communication from Alderman Moore regarding new police station.
All right, so, man, I don't know why this view is so awful on here. Let me figure this out. So, council meeting back in June, we haven't met, but there's communication from Alderman Moore, which would consider and study the possibility of locating a new police department operations building, which we are looking at, on the northeast corner of Quincy and University Avenue near the Transit Center. In short, that is the parcel. Here's downtown. Here's Monroe turning into University. Alderman's request was to look at, in short, this corner right here. So here's the Transit Center. The city owns the former Kimmer's Bar on the corner here. And he was interested in, as we start to look at different opportunities, actual land locations for police operations, could the city look at potentially this corner in terms of, we own a lot of the land here. Is there possible for building on this land or reconfiguring transit center to fit in with the police operations? It's communication. I think the appropriate gesture at this time would just be to refer back to staff to work with the police department and seeing where they're at. I think the police department is undergoing the study right now in terms of determining their needs. With that, we could talk about pros and cons of this potential area here. It also involve talking with transit, because obviously, unless you build a really tall, skinny police station, I think they're going to need a little more than that corner to. So I guess with that, just to refer this communication back to staff, I think would be the appropriate measure here.
I would make a motion that we refer that issue from Alderman Moore back to staff, but also include in there that we should be looking at a joint police and fire. I just lost the word.
Facility or station?
Facility.
Yeah, there is fire
there a fire
station
station
number, is it 3, 4?
5?
5 on University on the far right corner.
Anyway, that would be my motion.
Okay. Is there a second? Second. Second by Genrick. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Item 6, sale of South Huron Road property, tax parcel 21-185-2.
All right, Wendy Townsend has been working on this. She is out of the office this week. In short, there's a little memo here. This refers to our parcel out in I-43 on Huron Road that is out in front of the Procter & Gamble warehouse. We own this parcel right here out front. Here's Huron. American Flex Pack is here. This is the big Procter & Gamble warehouse. This is our...
South of the pond.
Right. Yep, just north of the pond.
Or north of the pond.
North of the pond, yep, is where we have a parcel out there. The city, we've had that for sale for quite some time. We did receive an offer on it. Our asking price was $48,000 an acre. We have been offered $42,000 per acre for a total of $126,000. I did put closed session language on here if the authority would like to move into closed session to discuss this offer and discuss whether we want to counter or how we want to move forward with this offer and react to it.
I'd entertain a motion to go in closed session if it's everyone's interest. And personally, unless there's a real good reason why we should accept that for less than the asking price. Otherwise, I don't
Should
know.
we go in closed session?
Yeah, I would,
Okay,
if you want to, someone wants to read the
I'll
language.
make
we
that
can
motion.
move to
Okay,
closed.
the authority may convene in closed session pursuant to sections 19.85, parent 1, parent E, Wisconsin statutes, for the purpose of deliberating and negotiating the sale of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business as necessary for competitive or bargaining reasons. The authority may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.85, parent 2, Wisconsin statutes, to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda. So
Roll call.
We'll obtain a motion to go into closed session.
Second. Bill made the motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Carried.
All right.
Roll call.
Yep, so Chair Gary Sick,
Aye.
Bill Hilgenberg,
Aye.
Mike Borley,
Aye.
and Eric Henry.
Aye.
All right, we are in closed session. Let me pause that. Zoom here.
So then we can,
Wow, how did this get back on? We recorded, but, all right. We can erase that. All right, so back into regular session. I guess I'll just do a quick roll call.
sure.
Gary Sickick.
Here, aye.
All right, Bill Hilgenberg.
Aye.
Mike Borley.
Aye.
Eric Henry.
Aye.
All right, so back in open session.
So, so do you want a motion to say that we rejected this offer and we're going to hold at our asking price, or?
Yeah, take a
Okay.
motion to counter this offer
Sure.
with offer as discussed
Right.
at $48,000 per acre.
So moved. Is there a second? Second. Second by Genrick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Item 7, extension of planning option agreement for 202 Cherry Street condominium unit 1 and condominium unit 2, tax parcels 12-351 and 12-352.
All right, so we are talking about the Cherry Street ramp. We talked about this project here about a year ago when we initially had the planning option. And we have the developer and representatives here on the project. We granted a planning option that expired, in essence, at the end of May. We haven't met, so we haven't been able
Yeah,
to
right.
meet to extend it. What they are looking for, now that the project is public, is an extension of the option that basically would allow them to continue working on due diligence, and just a commitment from the city that, we're not going to be, shopping this to anyone else while they complete that due diligence. They went to the redevelopment authority yesterday. Redevelopment authority recommended an initial term sheet, and then they're going to be going to council next week for basically council's take on that, with the goal then of getting together a development agreement for by November 1st of this year. The client is here if you would like to open the floor and ask kind of questions about the project or, I guess asking time for extension of when they would like that to be. And then, if there's any other additional questions that you have about the project, I'll be here and happy to answer questions.
Motion to suspend.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Yeah, well, yeah, why don't you come up, or both, or?
2 for 1 special.
Yeah, 2 for 1 special. Very, very interesting project, congratulations. I think
Thanks.
that's really interesting, that's really foresight and thought. Overall, what's your timetable?
If the permitting goes smoothly here and we have everything in place around the 1st of November, we would then finalize the building plans, have those state approved, and then be ready to begin construction in April, and then open the following April. So roughly a year of construction.
Great. And so basically 2 units?
Well, it would be 1 condominium
Unit with,
with 71 apartments.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Correct.
I see.
Be 1 giant unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are the penthouses.
Curious penthouse.
Penthouse to a new one. Where do you
Party
live?
house.
There.
So yeah, that's how that's really kind of how you would package that deal, is basically 1 condo, like we just stated.
Well, currently there are 5 condominium units that comprise that property, and we would create a 6th condominium unit essentially. So out of the air rights right now.
All right.
Interesting.
So you're looking for an extension to December 1st?
I think we have a longer date on there, don't
Yeah.
we? I think it gets us like into spring just to
Make sure we're
get to the point.
starting construction when
Right.
it expires.
Right, and so I think they were asking for May 1st, because
No.
if they wanted to be under window for construction, just in terms of allowing for that. Hopefully not slack, but if there is,
Right.
some slack in there.
Things are never delayed, I mean,
I didn't see any dates, so sorry for the question.
So this is the original planning option agreement.
Through one more
Right,
year.
the motion would be to direct staff to draft up an amendment
Oh,
that would
the
extend it
amendment
to a
to
certain
this.
date. Yep, this is the original one.
Okay.
We feel pretty secure in all the terms. I mean, we went through this, and legal went through this the first time we did it. It would just be extending of these terms.
All right.
In essence, they have the right to continue due diligence, don't mess anything up, and just,
Is there any need to have this connected with what you were talking about, the RDA thing, or is that's a whole separate issue from this?
yeah, I mean, it is, but it isn't. I mean, in terms of just, it's
It ends
our
up-
property, but redevelopment authority. This is connected because this report will go to the city, and then the city, for this development agreement or term sheet, 3 parties are the developer, redevelopment authority, and the city. So this is in terms of, is the city, because the city owns the ramp, willing to extend the planning option with the developer.
And no outstanding engineering questions that need to answer? You guys are pretty comfortable with all the?
Yeah, we
everything you
spent
got
quite
back?
a lot of money with
Yeah.
an engineer firm, going back to the original contractors who built it. not contract, but like Spancrete and the soils.
Mhm.
And they all came back more than favorable. So settling was like less than 1/4 of an inch, which is the lowest amount that they will even say a building may or may not settle. And then, in terms of structural bracing, it's like less than 100,000. So that's, right now, we're extremely confident in the structural integrity of the project. And that's our site work. We don't need to move around a bunch of dirt. We just needed to crunch a bunch of equations.
Right.
And so we went back to kind of the original contractors and had them tell us it's okay, so. And that's already been done, so.
Have you guys established any price points yet, or is that this phase?
For the rents? Yeah, so rents will be somewhere between 1,800 and 2,000 for a 2-bedroom, somewhere around 2,500 for a 3-bedroom, somewhere between 800 and 1,000 for a 1-bedroom. And those are all rents that have been captured already in City Deck Landing and Metro. Our project is 2-bedroom heavy as opposed to being 1 and studio heavy. So City Deck and Metro are 70% studios and 1s. Ours are, ours are mostly 2s. So we have only 19 1-bedrooms and 4 3-bedrooms. The 3-bedroom product is new, brand new to the market. We have 1 penthouse at City Deck that rented for $2,500 twice. So the only reason the original person moved out is it was a roof leak. The builder needed a warranty, and it was in the winter, so we couldn't fix it, so we let him out. And then we re-rented it this year. So we've been almost 100% financially occupied at City Deck Landing since before we got the occupancy permit, like the day before we received the occupancy permit. So we'd follow the same marketing plan for this project. And the rents are all kind of in those baskets we've already collected from. The difference is the quantity of units coming to the market, so just want to make sure we have our marketing ducks in a row.
Just curious also, I noticed you're looking for TIF funding for
Yeah.
part of the project. As far as your financing, I know we're in open session now, but are you looking at other public funds or things like that? I know we've had a lot of projects here that seem to have had funding from 8 different sources, and
No.
it got really complicated.
We're keep it simple, stupid kind of people.
Okay, there you go.
No, there's project financing, the investor financing, then the TIF funding.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
a 3-layer cake.
Kind of clean.
Yep. Yep.
Good.
Question, I think in the Press Gazette article or something, they talked about the top 2 floors of the existing parking ramp would be part of your project ultimately.
No.
We'll have parking, a lease agreement with the city for the top level of parking.
Oh, okay, just.
Correct.
I was just curious, because a lot of times the reporting isn't quite accurate.
Yeah, there were a couple
A
of
little
those.
bit.
Another cool thing, we'll have 2 spots we'll have at least 1 parking spot for every bedroom, which is
I'll say it.
Okay,
Metro and
yeah,
City Deck
yeah.
don't. So the way, kind of the concept we're looking at this project with is kind of a no concessions, right? So it's like living in an apartment but without concessions. So you can have dogs, you can have cats, whatever. It's kind of luxury housing. You can have multiple cars in your parking ramp, go figure, because most people have multiple cars. And so this project will kind of tie together a lot of what we think are deficiencies in the other project and kind of offer that. So that's why we have so much parking. If it seems like we have a lot, that's why.
Motion to return to regular order business.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
luck.
Thank you.
Motion to direct staff to extend the planning option.
I'll second that.
And just for clarification, that would be until May 1st, 2017?
Okay, so- Yes.
31st.
May 31st?
That's what,
Okay.
that would be the 12
I can see the
months.
date, but I hope you guys go right on the dates, because I don't have, on my sheet, there
That's
are
what
already
this
dates.
is.
Okay, May 31st,
All right.
2017.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, item 8. Or did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, item 8, extension of offer to purchase for 1038 Erie Road.
All
Tax
right.
parcel 21-171-2.
Since I put this on the agenda, I realized technical error that it's actually not extending the date of the offer to purchase. It was extending some terms to make some due diligence commitments in there in terms of when parties would be responsible. 1038, that's our Erie and, corner of Mason and Erie.
Yes.
Our acreage out there, so we've had that locked up. The purchaser is just working with one of their clients in terms of working some things on their end. They did not ask to extend the purchase date, which is slated for the end
Okay.
of this year. They actually asked for, reading through the document more clearly now, extension, just some time to do due diligence. So they want to get that due diligence done. Initially, they had said this summer. They're pushing that back to September. So in essence, that's really only the term that changed on this. So if you just want to receive and place this one on file, there's nothing really for us in terms of
All right.
the
Okay.
terms that we agreed to
Sure.
that are going to be changing. So I apologize for that. After reading through for prep this meeting, I just want to make sure.
And just about that project,
Yep.
there was some discussion about having to rebuild parts of Erie Road or anything.
Correct.
Is that being looked at? or
Yep,
what's-
so we've had some discussions with Public Works, and in terms of timing with construction and things, we've met and discussed, and hopefully with the timing, we can get that into our program for next
Okay.
year.
Good. Okay. Is there a motion
So moved.
to place this on file? Second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, informational items, number 9, task order for Phase 2 and 3 of the Velp Avenue area-wide plan. Yeah, what's happening with that?
So, I think you guys approved the first part of the Velp Avenue area plan, or it was just a director's update because it's coming
Right.
out of our,
Right.
our brownfields money for the first
Okay.
phase. Second and third phase, we're funding through our surplus funds from last year, and that was approved at Finance Committee earlier this year. We had a task order describing the specific tasks that will be a part of phase 2 and 3, and we were gonna bring it to EDA last month. Of course, we didn't have quorum. It did go to Plan Commission and was approved there, and then it went to council and was approved there. So, I guess I'm not really looking for your approval. I just wanted to notify you guys that that did go through, and
Great.
that we will be finishing, following through with phase 2 and 3 of that plan.
I think first public meeting was tonight, right? It's after this? I'm looking, maybe it's next month after.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's September.
Don't scare Julia.
Yep, sorry, yeah. Where are we supposed to be?
Pretty broad question, but I mean, how many brownfield sites are there in that corridor?
I think it was something like 45%. I can't remember the exact number.
Wow.
But then the land area, like when you actually look at who the big land consumers are,
Yeah.
it's about 80% of the total land.
Wow.
Because there's big junkyards
Yeah, the
that take up
junkyard
like
cells.
massive
Yeah.
amounts of land. So,
Wow. Huh.
yeah, it's a real challenge.
Yeah, I bet, okay.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
August 24th will be the first public meeting.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay, great. Director's update.
Yeah, just a few things. I think you've seen some of the projects I've been working on lately, just moving forward with the Cherry Street ramp and why that was here today in terms of, again, the project, the joint effort between the developer, the redevelopment authority, and then the city. One of the things that we're going to maybe be talking about in the upcoming months is, we've talked about business park expansion and, where I-43 is at, and obviously, as we talked about today, we're down to our last parcels there. We've had some initial discussions with Public Works about the ability maybe to extend some infrastructure out that way to allow us to, whether we extend the business park or not, but be able to develop parcels to the east. As you start to move east of Erie Road, right now it's been very limited by the lack
Yeah.
of, in essence,
There's no
infrastructure.
infrastructure out
Correct.
there, yeah.
So just given, where the industrial market has been, I mean, it's been hot, and we,
Mhm.
as a city, want to be able to, kind of maintain, our competitive edge and being able to do those. So perhaps sometimes this fall, we may be talking about discussion of whether or not to extend actual business park boundaries to that as we look at extending the infrastructure out there.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that, we're just continuing to work on a variety of projects. We're kind of implementing right now, I think I talked about in May, we did combine economic development with community development. And we're in the process right now of hiring an assistant director to help with basically operations. And then with that hiring will move forward in terms of economic development, hiring a dedicated real estate person.
Oh, yeah.
We have a part-time position right now that, works in neighborhood enhancement, to change that position into a full-time one that not only works on neighborhood properties, but then it can also work on commercial properties. And have somebody just really dedicated to real estate in the city,
Great.
the properties that the city owns.
Great.
We're still finding properties that we own, and
Sure,
it's,
that's-
whose is this?
Yeah,
It's not parks, it's not public works, what are we
Yeah.
doing with it? Well, if there's
Yeah.
a way to develop it, can we do that? And then also in the planning team, hiring a GIS and design specialist who, from an economic perspective, can help us. Some of these questions about, all right, we have parcels, ways to design or think creatively about, how we can use, this land. So with that, I guess I didn't have any other specific things in mind, but be happy to answer your questions. I know we haven't met for a little while. Third thing, I know I said we were going to get another member on EDA. I think in May, I had said that recommended Celestine Jeffries was going to be my pick. However, the mayor took her for chief of staff. Yes.
She was on this committee at one time when she was
Yep.
an alderperson.
Yep, and that's, part of the reason that I'm asking you back.
Right.
I think we do have some other candidates, so
Good.
we will get somebody on next
Good,
council's
yeah.
agenda, so
Good.
I'm glad we had quorum today, but just so we don't have to
Yeah.
scramble as much in the future.
Question,
Yes,
talking about land.
Yep.
The Atkinson Marsh, that whole thing, what's happening with that out there? Anything?
north or south of 43?
It'd be north.
There's no part of the Belp Avenue.
Is that all part of
phase,
that,
part of-
or?
No, I
That's
think
a
the
full-
plan cuts off at 43. And
Oh, it does?
the study area does. I personally, I've never driven north of where the 43 exit is, so it's hard for me
Well, that's
to.
where most of the
Just
salvage
curious.
are.
Yep.
Where most of the what?
On Belp Avenue, north of the Atkinson,
Mm-hmm.
between, theoretically, between
Well, it goes up
Highway
to 43.
41,
Or-
all the way to Atkinson Drive to the south on Belp is where most of the salvage yards.
Right, and that's part of it, but north of 43 is not. So I'm saying anything on the other
Or
side of the
west,
highway.
East of
Yeah.
it.
Well, that'd be north.
North.
North of 43, yeah, east of 41.
Yeah.
But between Velp and the highway is part of the study area.
You're saying along Velp up to military is part of, this is part of the study
Right,
area.
right, yeah.
This area to the north is not.
Right.
What was your question, Phil?
Well, just, I know that's come up in the past, or I've talked to a variety of people about just that whole area up there.
Where all the rail spurs and everything are?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
that's,
just-
that's
Is that just
industrial
sort of
rail
there?
activity.
Yeah.
No man's land,
You know,
Yeah, it is kind of.
because every now and then, something, you see.
Well, maybe it's a good thing that it's somewhat hidden because it's technically not heavy manufacturing industry, but there's a
along
multiple
those
rails.
lines.
It's almost a switching.
Heavy materials.
Area.
I mean,
Heavy
there's a lot of-
materials.
I mean, the petroleum and the
Yeah.
concrete
So-
gravel.
It's just sort of there.
Sure, I mean, if that's something that you want to kind of check into and see, I mean, we haven't had a lot of calls from that area or interest for that, but I mean, in terms of us reaching out to them, I mean,
I
if
think-
that's something.
Stay focused on Develop and
It's all sort
Webster
of
corridors.
that whole-
I think that area is just less, it's more isolated from the neighborhoods and from
Right.
all of the commercial uses, that it's a little easier to stay out of
Basically,
mind.
to fill the wetlands.
To Phil's point, I mean, I think the common understanding is that the Pulliam power plant is going to be decommissioned within the next
Yeah.
5
likely.
years or so. I mean, that's just where things are going.
That soon? Really?
I would
know that.
expect so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's just, that seems to be the trend in the industry, away from coal.
Yeah.
So I think it's, it's going to be something that the city is going to have to take
Yeah,
a look at
well, that's
eventually to
true.
figure
Yeah,
out
yeah.
what to do
Mhm.
in that neighborhood.
But yeah,
Well,
if you
comment,
want-
question, Kevin, you talk about the additional staff for, dealing with the real estate. How does that tie in with the Neighborhood Works program? I mean, I look at that as well as, developing, they're developing distressed pieces of property, which does enhance the neighborhoods, which is good for economic development. It all ties in. Is everybody part of that loop?
Yeah, and that,
Of them and-
the idea was to have a point person.
Okay.
It's because sometimes, when we work with the county to get foreclosed properties, some of those are best served to be redone as residential properties. Some of those are best done to be maybe a higher and better use residential property. Like you saw, Habitat come forward with their twin homes on East Walnut. NeighborWorks has built some, kind of higher density. They're looking at Navarino Park right now. But there may be some cases where maybe it's better even as a commercial use. And so to have, a person who can kind of see what's coming in, managing what we have, and then also disposition end of things. This person, even though they'll be in ED, is going to work really closely with community investment team and neighborhoods. Again, these parcels, we just want to make sure we're talking and getting kind of the best use out of them.
Because it becomes, probably up to now, it's fractured because everybody has great programs and they're all doing great things. It's just, nobody's talking to one another.
Right, and I think that's one of the things we look at in terms of cases of, is this best, how do we best also move this property? And, we have some clients that we worked with that, were really kind of targets for certain products in certain areas. And it just allows us to kind of talk with each other like, look, between ED, between community investment, from the planners, what really is the best use of this property to make sure we get that.
Okay.
Especially when we're putting city funds into it. There's a public benefit, we want to make sure that we're getting that.
And related to this, sort of the departmental reorganization, and you all taking a look at things and making sure that, it's structured in the right way. I was just curious if you've thought about taking a look at EDA as it relates to RDA and, some of the different duties that are delegated to each body and just kind of reevaluating or just taking a look and making sure that it all makes sense.
Yes, and I think just in terms of just tracking and responsibilities and then reporting, there's some things just kind of by charter and how they're created, the redevelopment authority has to do.
Right.
But I think, just looking at other ways that, the economic development authority, can be involved in, again, kind of like strategy and direction and programs that we're doing.
Good question.
Yeah.
I think that you guys have to kind of remain two separate authorities because of the different ownership.
Right. How's the university festival site, how's that project going?
It is moving along well.
Oh, good.
They, still a few details to clean up in terms of just some permitting.
Yeah.
But in terms of schedule, they're moving dirt out
How
there.
about the road weren't they looking at a different configuration there
Correct.
with DOT? Is that moving?
Yep. So University Avenue will actually disappear for a short time. So all the traffic actually will go up and around in the future.
Oh,
So that
okay.
University Ave, where you cut through,
Yeah.
will disappear.
Oh.
Now we'll work to rename, so University Avenue
Yeah.
kind of stays contiguous.
Yeah.
Right now it's Sturgeon Bay Road.
Oh, okay.
But that will disappear because
Yeah.
that'll basically go right through the front
Of the
drive of the
development.
grocery store.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Is there going to be another curb cut on whatever road that is that you go out now? The existing, where the traffic has to go,
Sure. So
before that stoplight?
maybe I can pull up and just explain a little better here.
And if you haven't been out there, the building's
I haven't.
going up.
Oh, yeah,
It's-
I've not been
yeah,
out there
it's-
recently.
it's
Yeah,
pretty-
okay.
So through traffic, all through traffic will then, this road's gonna disappear.
Right.
Grocery stores will basically be here. This is
So
how you'll
I
travel.
see,
Okay.
okay, okay,
And a
makes
new
sense.
street will come through where actually this, there'll be a new street that comes through here and actually cuts through around here. So it's not gonna be through traffic, so it'll actually be Clement Street. So Clement
Okay,
Street will
yeah.
come up, turn, this will be cut off right here. So you can only go around here and it can only go out here. So that'll be the new public street that helps to access, but it's not dumping traffic on any
Will
new
there be
street.
lights there?
Yes. Yep, it will be signal.
So how's that building gonna be configured on that site?
I can pull up a plan.
Well,
In
no.
short, Festival's gonna be right here where my fist is.
Oh, okay.
Quick
okay.
Trip is gonna be over here.
Okay.
And then there's gonna be some outlying shops basically right here.
Ah, interesting.
Also, Quick Trip will go where that office building is now, or?
Correct. Maybe I can even
Imagine.
just, give me a second here, pull up a quick thing I just sent
How
that.
many parking spaces? Is that whole triangle parking
A
lot?
lot is. Let me just see if I can pull something up here.
Then I was talking to Steve.
Oh, the
Mayor,
access like Riviera Bowling Alley and all
putting,
that, or is that going away?
They're extending it up,
Are they doing like
walk,
medians
bike,
and
whatever,
stuff?
Oh,
lane,
yeah, bike.
all the way out to
Yes.
Curry Lane
Oh,
on the, if you're going out towards Curry Lane
Right,
on the right side.
yeah, oh, okay.
Which will really help that. It doesn't quite get to you,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
GB, but
yeah.
it's getting
yeah.
close.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
Ah,
So this is how it's gonna
there
work.
we go, interesting. Huh.
So this is, yeah, the new Clement
Okay.
Street, Quick Trips here, festivals here, shops are there.
Yep.
This will actually still be, it's just gonna be University Way or closed off. We'll have to work on some street renamings, just so people don't get
Do
confused.
they own
there.
that lot, was that lot 4? Did they
Yep.
own that too?
Yes, so
Oh,
that
wow.
is nothing slated on it right now, that's a
Right,
future
right.
development
Wow.
opportunity.
Nice,
All right.
very nice.
And how many outlots or how many stores out there?
Still one.
Out there, the small shops, they'll have,
Is that like 6,000 square feet
yep,
or something like that?
yep, so probably 2 to 3.
Okay.
Probably similar to the little shops that are going up on Lime Kill and Alloway.
Yep, with the hope, I mean, probably get an end cap, like a coffee shop, or some type of restaurant with a drive-through. And then, 2 smaller retail places.
That's really terrific.
All right. Exciting
Okay.
stuff.
Thank you guys.
All right,
Anything else? I'll take a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Carried. Great. Good job.